Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. Houston or Purdue? Who are you most worried about after the two best teams in college basketball lost on Tuesday night?
You know what? Nebraska is really good. I'm not really shocked that people have a hard time playing there because people love Nebraska hoops. John, you were talking about it, and I'm just going to let you have that one. That's a tough place to play. I'm not necessarily worried about Purdue. Kind of their problems are the problems, but I feel like they've been able to mitigate some of those issues with the additional Lance Jones, and those guards are older. So I'm not as worried about them. Houston, there's going to be some growing pains, if nothing else, guys, because one, that conference is a beast. Two, I think the Iowa State was a very welcome, very big welcome present from the league to have to go and play at Ames. Also a tough one. And the reason I worry about them more is just simply because that league is a beast. And the Big Ten's not a beast this year. It's watered down. So I would worry a little bit more about Houston, that league, just the adjustment. Purdue, it's almost like hurry up and get to the tournament if I'm a Purdue fan.
So the answer is Houston, of who I'm concerned more about, because if it's not Jamal Shed, LJ Cryer, or Emmanuel Sharp, Houston is just offensively challenged. And when you get to the NCAA tournament, that becomes an issue. I don't care how hard you defend. At some point, you're playing 2 games in 3 days, right? Now, you think about this tournament. March Madness is the best event in sports. But when you get to the big dance floor, we've brought this up on the pod a bunch of times, but it's my favorite phrase. I almost want it on a T-shirt that I can wear in March. It's not a 6-game tournament. It's 6 one-game tournaments. When you break those up and you're playing twice in 3 days, back-to-back weekends to back, if you're going to win it all, and you're playing elite teams, that's freaking hard. And at some point, you can only defend so well. You got to have somebody have this kind of a night, or number 2 have this kind of a night. So it's Houston. I'm more concerned about them because of the strength of the Big 12. It's the best conference in the country. I think that they're going to still wreak more havoc on the Big 12 than the Big 12 will them. There's not a lot of atmospheres like Hilton Coliseum. Now, in that league, there's some tough places to play. Hilton's some kind of special. You know, I put Hilton on a night like last night is up there with Allen Fieldhouse. I mean, if you've never been there, it's insane.
It's insane.
The fans are like one big collective group. They do everything the same way. It's special out there. Non-conference strength of schedule for Houston on KenPom is at 219, meaning they haven't been tested to the same degree as a Purdue has. Purdue's at 15th in the country. But to me, it's Houston, but the bigger answer, Rob, is that this is the nature, the climate of the sport. There is no dominant team. If you don't play your best on the road, you're going to get beat. It's hard. If you don't play well on the road, you will lose in this sport. I don't care what name is on your jersey. And you know, I open up KenPom this morning, and Houston still won. Interesting. Arizona's 2, and Arizona lost to Stanford. Purdue is 3, and Auburn's 4. Auburn, I think, is better than the AP ranking, better than what a lot of people think.
Save the Auburn, Amro. We got Auburn coming up.
But I think that's most indicative of the climate of this sport, is that you would not ever guess that the common fan wouldn't guess that Auburn is 4th in KenPom. It just goes to show you March is going to be insane again. Parity's off the charts in college basketball, and there's not one dominant team. So when number 1 and number 2 lose on a given night, hell, as we're doing this podcast, Kansas will likely beat UCF, but could UConn lose tonight and 3 of the top 4 have lost? Of course. That's very real in the sport of college basketball. Go on the road at your own risk.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely 100% right. To be frank, I'm not worried about either of these teams. If I had to say I was worried about one of them more, it would be Houston, and it would have nothing to do with the loss that they took last night. It's just I don't think that they have as much offensive firepower, and I think that when you're reliant on offensive rebounds and stingy defense to be able to win games, that can kind of limit your ceiling on the nights when your guards aren't making shots. I do just want to make one point about Purdue. I thought that what Nebraska did defensively was really interesting, and I don't remember another team doing this. They basically hedged, and they forced Braden Smith to not beat them in pick and rolls. They kind of trapped every pick and roll. I think you would probably just call it like a hard hedge. But they sent two guys at him until he gave up the ball. And every time Zach Edey touched it, they sent like two, sometimes three guys at him. So their entire game plan was like, we're not going to let Braden Smith score, and we're not going to let Zach Edey score, and anybody else can try to beat us. And Purdue still put up 72 points on the road in a really tough environment. So I'm not worried about what they are offensively. Look at their two losses. They've given up 180 points in two losses at Nebraska and at Northwestern. They have allowed those two teams to shoot 24 for 43 from three, which is, T.O., you're our expert shooter here. Are those good numbers?
That sounds pretty good.
And they've forced a grand total of 12 turnovers in 85 minutes of basketball. Remember, Northwestern, that game went to overtime. The issue for them is on the defensive end of the floor. And I don't know if I'm actually worried about them. Like, if you go back and you watch the film from last night, Kizi Tamanaga hit some ridiculous threes. And that's kind of what he does. And that's kind of why he's good.
Both teams that they lost to have explosive guards.
Yes. And those guys got off. And I would say that, CJ Wilcher last night hit a bunch of tough threes. I don't know if it's as much Purdue lost that game or choked it away, or it was like anything to write home about, and more like Nebraska kicked their ass and showed up and looked like the Nebraska that John Fanta spent the entire offseason.
He did. You nailed that one.
Yeah.
You nailed that one like a split hog.
You nailed it like a split hog. All right. We'll get to Nebraska and Iowa. Say 1 second. Last thing I do want to say on Purdue is that, look, you lose on the road in league play. I'm firmly of the belief that we are a little bit too reactionary in college basketball media.
No,
we are. We that's what we do. And I think Field 68 is kind of, we tap into that a little bit, especially with the fan bases, and our headlines. There's nothing better than a nice.
Is Purdue the best team in the country? Is Kansas the best team in the country? Is Houston the best team in the country?
There is none. There's nobody else.
But here's just on that real quick. Yeah. The way that the YouTube algorithm works, you are very much incentivized to have some kind of clickbait title and clickbait thumbnail. That's not just sports. That's literally everybody that has success on YouTube. It's just the nature of what it is. If you enjoy the content, then can we just get past the fact that that's what you have to do to have a successful business on YouTube in the year 2024? It is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm not worried about either of these teams. They're two of the at worst 5 best teams in the country, and I would say they're probably close to the 2 best teams in the country still, even after losing on the same night last night. As you guys know by now, we've partnered with BetMGM this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 each and every week of the college basketball season. We have a special offer that will be available starting on Tuesday, January 9th and running through Monday, February 12th, the morning after Super Bowl 58. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, in honor of the big game, you can use the bonus code FIELD158 and you'll get $158 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not you win that first bet. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app. Sign up using the bonus code FIELD158. Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game. You'll receive $158 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD158 when you sign up. And remember, BetMGM is now available under one wallet in select states. As a New Jersey resident, this is super convenient when I have to go cover games in New York or Philly, which happens quite a bit. When you cross state borders, you just log into your existing account and fire away. You don't have to create separate accounts in each state. It's easy, it's simple, it's clean. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the heart of the college basketball season. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odd boosts, and my favorite, a nice juicy parlay boost. So download the BetMGM app and sign up today. Field 158. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.